What's up, everybody? It's Greg with Advantage One Brokers, and this is the ADV1 podcast. This is a podcast where we come to you each and every weekday with relevant topics and trainings, and we have guest speakers. And today, I have the honor and pleasure of welcoming a fantastic guest speaker, Dr. Edward Burns. Edward, how you doing, brother?
I am well. Thank you so much, Greg, for having me on today's show for today. I'm very excited about being here. Like I was telling you earlier today, I was actually manifesting this whole situation for myself, right? When I first met you, I was like, one day I'm going to be on this podcast one day. I started putting in the work and started meditating more and more. And guess what? Here I am today.
Here you are. I love it. The power of manifestation, the power of active visualization. I believe in it.
Yeah.
So Edward, what I like to do is kind of tell your story.
Oh my.
How did you get to where you're in insurance?
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you this. Over 20 years, I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. That's where I started my entire life from, right? And actually getting out of the Marine Corps was the most challenging thing for my life to do. Starting over, we should be, you military as well, been there for a long time, and you get now, it's like, what am I going to do next, right?
Yeah.
But I found myself being homeless. Nowhere to go, sleeping in my car. Imagine a veteran who did 2 tours overseas and home, now he's homeless, right? So I started looking for things to do and different perspectives on life and what I want to do in my life. And I found this industry today is the financial service industry, which I love to do. What industry from going from being homeless to making $10,000 a week?
Yeah.
Where did you do that?
Exactly. So how long ago did you find insurance?
I found insurance almost a decade ago, 10 years ago.
Almost a decade? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you've been in it for a hot minute.
I've been studying. I study my craft, man. Before I jumped into something, I study. I took all the tests, all my series license, make sure I was studying this craft before I jumped into it. So I actually been doing it for about 10 years.
Okay. Fantastic. And so, how long have you been with Advantage One? What brought you here? And let's talk a little bit. Let's unpack that a little bit.
Oh my gosh, Advantage One. I've been with Advantage One for like 2 weeks.
Well,
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what brought me here was I was with a practice company before I came over here, and had a large team of 25 agents, licensed agents, ready to go. I personally trained myself. I thought the practice company would be a great company for us to begin with. We're bringing that much staff over, and what I found out was a lot of smoke and mirrors. I wasn't happy. Every time I would bring up certain things like lead sources, or like why are we selling a certain amount of these type of insurance carriers products and services instead of doing what's best for the carrier, I would always get knocked down or knocked to the side to the point where that it just was not a great relationship anymore with that organization.
Yeah. So you came over for 2 weeks, about 2 weeks ago. You got in the field pretty quickly. How's your experience been so far?
Oh my goodness. Being in other fields over here is so transparent. The training, for one, how fast they get you appointed, number 2, and the workaround that we have, number 3, is great for us to do. 2 weeks in the fields. Last week was my second week in the field. Went from 0 to 10K in one day.
There you go. You can't complain about that, right?
No, and like I said, I tell people all the time, the results that we have are not typical, but when you understand your 3 C's, the choices, the chances, and the changes, there's nothing that can stop you.
I like that. So how'd you come up with the 3 C's? I like that.
Now, we both military men, right?
Yeah.
So we know we make choices, and we have to deal with our choices, and we take chances. We take those chances. There has to be a change, right? So what I found out was in the other practice company, there wasn't no change. It was, we're going to do it this way. I know this way or the highway. And my mind runs differently. It runs by the choices that I make, integrity, commitment, making the choices that I need to make things happen. And it just wasn't together for me to make those choices I wanted to make for my team.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I would agree. The whole refusing to change, being locked into one model, being like, it's going to be this way. That's very prevalent there. And something that I saw also and got yelled at and then future ignored and just set to the side, just like, you're doing your own thing. We're going to act like you don't exist.
Correct.
because I was, breaking the mold, which makes it really weird given how they, their entire story of how they came about and what they say they are, but neither here nor there. So you made the transition.
Yes.
You came over. You've had a good. What challenges have been, prevalent within this entire transition for you?
Oh my gosh. Basically having my legs cut off from underneath me, like my entire team is now gone. Like switched over, offered things they should not have been offered. Things been, not being able to get appointed with carriers that I want to get appointed with because I'm being held in a holding pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Those type of things that doesn't make good business for you. I
Yeah.
think a lot of time we get into business, we have to understand what business really is and how to run it. If you don't understand what the insurance industry is and how cutthroat it could be, you might be getting yourself into a little jam.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially whenever, if somebody's pockets are going to get light,
Yes.
then people are going to start making decisions to do things against you that are unethical
Correct.
or immoral or downright illegal.
Correct.
And I've seen all three of those scenarios take place in the past 6-7 weeks.
Yeah, let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about, Greg, if you don't
Yeah.
mind me.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The difference between company A and where we're at right now are day and night. Not because it's something new and so exciting for me, but the transparency, the open door policy,
Mm-hmm.
how you can actually go to a real corporate office and sit down with people from corporate and have the conversation versus trying to find someone that you think is corporate, but actually the reality is it's their own little sect, I came here because I want to own my own IMO. I came here because I want to teach others how to do it the same way that I'm doing it right now. I came here because this is open door policy whereby you get the chance to actually grow in what you're actually going to be doing next.
Yeah. And having man, that's the military in us, having an open door policy where you can go and you can voice concerns to somebody if that's above, your upline or your upline's upline or it's the top and have an actual conversation that, it's like, hey, we're at the end of the day, I'm just looking at someone's going to actually listen and give, give me the time of day. There might be merit in what I have to say. There might not be. I might be just out in left field with the wrong idea about what I'm doing, which is possible.
Right.
And
Correct.
at the end of the day, they'll say, hey, you just misunderstand this entire situation completely. Here it is. And then they break it down for me Barney style and I'm good to go, Or the opposite is like not having that structure where it's just like, anytime you question anything, it's just like, shut up and get to work. Just work harder. Just buy more leads. Just do this. Is like, that's not an answer to legitimate concerns that I have.
Especially when you're not building, especially when you're trying to build an organization, a company. When you saying, hey, just be quiet and buy more leads. Well, my guys just spent $2,000 in leads and on leads ads, and they only have 5 leads that make sense, and only one actually made an appointment, and then they canceled on them. We're here for run a business. I think that most of the time when, in the practice company, you really are practicing because you don't know any better. I mean, you have people that actually know business one-on-one,
Yeah.
and you bring it to the upper management team like, hey, this is not the way we should be running this organization because we are so big now. It's like, well, no, just keep going where they're going because they don't know any better. That's when you, as a leader, have to step in and say, wait a minute. The visions are different. We have 2 different visions here going on. Let me sit down and actually train my guys on our team exactly which vision that we're actually going after so that we will have our client and our customers' best interest at heart. Because I think a lot of time we get in this business for one reason or another. Our why changes all the time. As leaders, we know that we have a dynamic leadership style. It changes all the time. And for me, it's never about the money because the money will come. It's about teaching each individual agent how they're supposed to go out and help others get what they want so they can get what they want.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And that is the definition of servant leadership, of serving others to get them success. And this isn't even as simple as Zig Ziglar, if you pour in and help others accomplish their dreams, accomplish their financial goals, in turn, you will too. It's just going to happen. You help a lot of people, you'll be helped, tenfold.
I tell people all the time, if you don't mind me saying this, Greg, to you,
Mhm.
is that people have asked me, man, how do you make 5,000 a week? How do you make $1,000 a week? I tell them, learn your craft.
Yeah.
Stop chasing something that's already in front of you and learn your craft. If you learn your craft and you learn exactly what you're supposed to be doing throughout the process, everything else be added onto you. It's easy to make 5 or 10 grand. Here's why it's easy, because you're serving others to get what they want and their needs being met.
Mhm.
If somebody has a problem, Greg, go out and solve it. I guarantee they pay you for it.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, and that's just also knowing your worth. You know.
Correct.
So, so you had your first week in the field.
Yes.
You sold 10K.
Yes.
Let's talk. Let's break these numbers down. Let's crunch this. So, what kind of leads did you have? What kind of leads did you use?
Oh, mortgage protection.
The mortgage station and the A leads.
A leads.
Were they all A leads? All no B leads?
All A leads. When you come in this business, you're an investor. Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
That's the biggest investment you can make in yourself. If you want to, play around with it, dabble in it, it's okay. I'm one type. I don't like to play around with it because you know what? My future's on an island one day, Greg. If I'm an A player on the Chicago Bulls team,
Mhm.
I'm the point guard. I'm your next Michael Jordan on that team. So we're going all in. So yeah, there was A leads, man. That was the best A leads I've had. I mean, everyone I called was expecting my phone calls.
How many leads did you run that
5.
week? how
5.
how long did it take you to set those appointments?
10 minutes.
Man, isn't that just a breath of fresh air?
Yes, but here's the thing about it is when I called my leads on the phone, the lady was like, "Yes, I've been waiting for a couple of weeks now for you guys to give me a call back." I'm like, "Couple of weeks? I just got this a second ago. Wait a minute." So great, no problem. When can you come out? I said, "I can come out tomorrow if you like." She said, "Can you come out today?"
Yeah, why
I said,
not?
yes, ma'am. I can come out today if you give me a few moments. 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, "Actually, clock about 10 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 o'clock this morning. That'd be okay for you." She's like, "Yes, great, no problem." Hung up. I'm making more calls at the same time. I booked five out of 5.
Wow. So,
Because they're expecting your calls.
well,
And get this is the most exciting thing about it for me was they are well educated on what they want. I walked in the
exactly.
house, I sat down, door was open, I got some breakfast. I was happy, had some scrambled egg, I had 2 little sausage links with it to go with it, some toast, and we had coffee. I was there for like 45 minutes having a nice conversation with the family.
Yeah. And it makes your job so much easier because then you're not like just trying to go to sale. You're actually having a conversation with somebody that knows about what they want. They're asking for options. You turn into an advisor and you start to show multiple options, ask great questions, dig into their situation, and then say, hey, based on what you're telling me and based on what you want, here's the best products. This is the one I recommend. So let's see if we can get you approved.
I tell people all the time, Greg, I can't sell you water. I don't know how to sell, Greg, but I can highly recommend.
Yeah.
I love it when you recommend something for a client. The client has the option of what they want. All you have to do is be quiet. You recommend and you be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna tell you exactly what they want, why they want it, and what their needs are. All you're gonna do is put it in front of them, sign, seal, and deliver. It's really that simple here.
It is. And you can take the role of an advisor,
Mm-hmm.
which is 10 times better than coming in and trying to sell people on things. Because
Correct.
then you know that they're going to get something that that they picked, that they really want, and your chargebacks get reduced significantly. You're not
Yes.
picking one specific carrier where it's going to be super expensive. You know, you have a suite of products across different companies that you can say, hey, I can pick this one, I can pick this one, I can pick this one. What's the best for the client that makes the most sense that they can be approved for at the best rate?
Correct.
And
And I love the fact that we get them approved instantly on the spot.
yeah,
Not just having to wait for 3 or 4 or 5 days, or not having to wait on blood work and urine work, but they can get approved on the spot. And I love that we don't have to put them into a peg hole. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like a one size fit all, or put this client over here because our bonus is coming up. You need 3 more for a bonus, but it's $80 more than it should be for that client.
Yeah.
What happens to when you want it for the best for that client? What happens when you put in the clients first? the clients are more in depth to give you more recommendations to other people in their network than you ever seen before, because it made it much easier for me at that particular time. So
Yeah.
I tell my clients all the time, this is for what you want. This is what's best for you. What are your thoughts on it? And they tell you exactly, hey, I want schedule A because it's going to help my family. I get a return on my investment. Plus, I get LTC. I get all these things I never even heard of before.
Mm.
I'm grateful you came and sat down with us because we needed these things to happen.
Absolutely. And I even like the way like Spencer's been training people to, hey, have the policy delivered to you and then go deliver that policy so you can sit down, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be able to provide another policy in the home or get even more referrals, because then you come back and you're showing value, and now you're like the insurance guy.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm going to show you something right now.
Okay. Man, this was not planned at all. This
after our podcast, I'm going to the client's home.
Yeah.
Because the client has more. They have an old 401k that we spoke about. They have 2 other grown adult daughters who I'm meeting with today as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you have the policy delivered to your home, so you can always go back.
Exactly. And
So
then it just becomes you or the advisor. And now, how likely is another agent going to be able to get in that house and be like, hey, we should put you on this? Or they're going to be like, no, they already know. They know exactly what they got. You took the time to walk it through, show them their policy. You're taking it to them. You get further on policies with other family members or other referrals. You start to create this network within that client's circle. And how likely is it that someone's going to come in and be like, well, I got something cheaper? They're going to be like, I got to check with the insurance guy. I got to check with Edward.
Even if they did, they're going to always call you first. Hey, wait a minute, I got this guy who's trying to sell me something, because you have built that relationship over that 45-minute period of time.
Yeah.
Now, Greg, 45 minutes to me is too long to be in the household, but when wife is cooking scrambled eggs and links and stuff like that, they want you to eat breakfast. You need to sit down and have breakfast with their family, because it's the reason why they want that, because they can tell if you're authentic or not.
Exactly. And here's the thing is that you wrote 10,000 AP
one day
in 5 appointments.
Yes.
5.
Yes.
Are you really stressed for time because you've got 12 appointments over 12 hours across all over the city that you got to bounce in order to try, because you got to make it in case they're that one that potentially buys or actually has a bank account or isn't sick to death or actually knows why you're coming? Like all those things, it's like the stars aligning and the planets aligning on an axis and a solar eclipse at the same time in order for it to for the sales gods to bless you and say, hey, this is going to be a good appointment. You don't have to do that.
Greg, here's the thing about the lease that we have. You're not gonna believe this, right? If I can show you the lease right now, I will show them to you off the top I had in my head.
Mm-hmm.
All my appointment was within a 25-mile radius.
And yeah, it's awesome.
And I took the street to each one of my appointments, not the highway. I take the street to each one of my appointments. I was done. My day was done in 4 hours. I had a 4-hour day. I made $10,000, $30 and some change in one day. I know it's kind of like it's unbelievable to think about it, but what better industry can you be in than what we're in right now to do that?
Exactly. And when you have, it's just the marriage of multiple things, with having really good compensation, which is a good thing to have. Okay. Right. You don't want to have too low, but you don't want to have so high where that's what everyone relies on, but you do want to have high compensation. You want to have great training. You want to have great products in product training so that you have options to help your client depending on their situation. And then what's most important, you want to have great leads. The hardest thing that an insurance agent has to go through is what? Prospecting, period. That is the hardest thing that an insurance agent has to go through is prospecting. And the second hardest thing is product knowledge, knowing what to go within the home and knowing how to position yourself to put the client in the best position based on the arsenal of products you have at your disposal. So we teach the first one or the second one. And the second one also is just you learn through experience, but you can also go through our training and everything that we're doing in order to teach agents all these new products. But the first one, that's the responsibility of the IMO. That's the responsibility of the insurance company.
And that's one of the things I didn't like about the past practice company. They never really taught you about mortgage protection or final expense. They always threw you out there and it's like, hey, we call us in the house when you get in the house. But this is a fresh new agent who just got his or her license. So they're about to go out here and write a policy. They can get their license actually taken from them if it's done incorrectly.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of these, you got a lot of people that are elderly who don't quite understand. You got a lot of people out here that have mortgage protection, and you might not put them in the right mortgage protection policy with the LTC, but you call it mortgage protection.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to come across that bridge of not knowing. That's why, for myself, I always read. I always get with the carrier. I'm always getting with training, like with training that we do together on Advantage One training.
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? If you don't understand your craft, how can you be a great servant to those out there who's wanting what you want?
Exactly. And that's something you've been really good about since you came over, is just tapping into all the trainings, the videos, being present. But your success shows.
Yes, and not just for me. I'm willing to teach others exactly what to do. So, Greg, let me just change this dynamic for a second.
Okay.
Right? If we chase money, money runs far from us. But if I teach you how to go out and get that money and teach you how to serve others, money runs towards you. So here's what I mean by that is, there is no way that I can go out there and write 10K in a day if I'm worried about money.
Mm-hmm.
My prayer necessities not being met. But if I'm worried about how can I serve the next client, guess what happens to me? My mindset's already shifted to something positive. Hey, I'm gonna help somebody else out today, and I might go in and write a policy for $150, right?
Exactly.
What happens when I get there? I got the wife saying, "Wait a minute, what about me too? Do I not have a life as well? I want to retire too. I want to leave you something in case I may go before you do, husband."
Mm-hmm.
Now I got 2 for 1 because I'm serving. I understand it. That's why it's easy for us to make the income that we're making over here versus not making anything at all because we're chasing down a dollar bill.
No, absolutely. And you're hitting on a good point. I do believe that here, the way that everything is taught, it's taught so that you can be a servant in the home. And it's not like, hey, just all you need to learn is how to be on the phone, because that's the hardest thing, is setting a bunch of appointments. Just show up, call me, and they're going to recommend one product anyways. Let's be real. One carrier,
Correct.
one product, no matter what.
Correct.
But you're not teaching that person to appropriately sell. You're just giving them a piece of paper saying, follow this piece of paper, ask the questions on. That's not understanding the process. That's not understanding how to close properly, because the closing is a completely separate process than the actual sales process. Those are 2 different processes, and you're not training them appropriately. There's agents that don't know how to close appropriately.
Correct. I tell people all the time, if you be quiet long enough, the client close themselves.
Oh yeah.
They close themselves.
Silence works really well.
I don't say anything to my client. I'm sitting in front of the client. I don't say nothing. When I'm done my presentation, I've taught them, I've educated them. I'm quiet. The next person that speaks owns that product, owns that service.
Yeah.
And they open their mouth and say, you know what? I want A, but I really want A instead of B. How can we make this work? And I always tell them, here's my example. You're gonna laugh at me, Greg. I say, if I can show you how to spend $8 a day and turn $8 a day into $5,000 a month, would they help you? They go, yeah. I said, it's 30 days in a month, right? 8 times 3 is 24. That's 240. So instead of looking at 240, it's 2 of you guys, 2 ladies, husband and wife, times 2, that's 480. So imagine if I could get you into a mortgage protection with long-term care, critical, chronic, and terminal illness, plus, on top of that, plus you get your money back in a form of an IUL, putting $500 in a month. The wife is now a rider, a partner, a rider on the policy.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, after 25 years of that money back, you may be able to get that back, maybe $200,000, $300,000 of tax-free income for $8 a day. Times 2 is 16. Would that work for you? I'd be quiet.
And that's a powerful. The math just makes sense at that point.
Be quiet, because they understand that, because each person understands. Wait a minute, we spending $8 a day at Starbucks.
Yeah.
And my job is to go in and not to convince you of anything, but to educate you on how powerful is $8 a month. That's where my passion comes in there for serving people. I can show you how I can actually sit down with you and turn your baby that's 4 months old into $1 million baby at
Mhm.
$3 a month.
Have you seen David's IUL training that he did?
I saw it on Saturday.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love
He
it.
did a good
Awesome.
job. So he kind of breaks it down. And I would like to see your IUL and potentially have another future recording where we go over your IUL pitch. And it's good to have all these different pitches because they all work in their own right. And it really does. It's just extra information, extra knowledge for agents to learn. But that's a great way to pitch it and show it that it's because it's all about putting it into a perspective that the client understands. It's about
Correct.
being relatable.
Yes.
That's really what it is. It's understanding, but you can't be relatable if you don't know what's important to them. How do you find that out? By having a conversation with them, asking good questions. Ask them
Right.
questions that start with what and how, and learn from them. And what you'll find is going to be that these people are really interested in taking care of their family, and there's a lot of things that they just don't know that we do. And if you open up the conversation in a way where you're serving them, they're way more willing to listen.
I tell people all the time, I tell people my story. Like, you talk to a guy who was homeless. I'm, I mean, when you think about it, eating out of a trash can, I'm dumpster diving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating chicken nuggets from behind McDonald's every night with my daughter, man. It was crazy at one point in my life. I'm talking about living behind a bank called Navy Federal Credit Union in the snow, dead winter of Chicago.
Oh wow.
Okay. And I'm telling you, like, if someone would have set me down during my time in the Marine Corps, I probably wouldn't be in the situation I was in, you know?
Yeah.
But at the point when I sit down with a family, I tell them my story. I tell them who I am and what I can do for them. But it's their choice. It's them wanting to make a change. My passion is to change as many people as I can, to let them know just because you see me in a shirt and tie, because I know how it feels to have a shirt and tie. That's why I wear it all the time when you see me.
Yeah.
I like the way I feel when I wear it.
Mm.
But it was a time when I was wearing the same clothes for 7 days in a row. But my passion is to change lives as many times over as I can, because there's somebody out there that wants those three C's. They want choices.
Mm-hmm.
They want to take chances, and they definitely want to make a change.
Oh, absolutely. That's really powerful that you have that story that you're open to sharing it. You're not embarrassed by it, but the power of change, the power of what you went through, sharing that with clients, and using it as the source to serve them and put them in the best position possible. Because you're right. If a financial advisor had sat down with you when you were a young private in the Marine Corps and you started saving then, where would you be now? You know what I'm saying?
We wouldn't be having this conversation. Totally different, right?
Yeah.
I tell people that I come in contact with all the time, like, for me, you must make a choice to take a chance, or you'll never change. I made a choice to make a change. I made that choice.
Mm.
As we go in this industry right now, this industry talking about making a choice and making change. I'm so happy that I took a chance, made a choice to change to Advantage One, not because of the compensation plan, because of better leadership, transparency,
Mm.
honesty, integrity. I made a conscious choice. I didn't come over here because I wanted to make more money. Heck, I was making money over there. It didn't make a difference to me. I wanted to make a choice where I could actually help people in a way that they actually have it tangible in their bank accounts.
Yep.
When they lose a loved one, they don't have to walk around and say, "Did I get choked? I thought I had insurance, but I found that I had accidental death." Wait a minute, switch and bait, bait and switch type deal.
Mm-hmm.
No, you have life insurance. Here's what it means. For me, that's my passion. I tell people all the time, I'm not afraid to share my story because it's real. You can't make this up.
Yeah.
What person wants to live behind a bank and eat McDonald's for 9 months out of trash cans? Nobody.
Yeah, no, not this guy.
Wants to, wants to take a shower at the YMCA, sneaking his daughter in there to give her a bath, and you taking a shower, a sponge bath and running and going to school? Nobody.
Yeah.
But you know what? It made me a better person. It showed me where I've been. That's my past.
Mhm.
It gave me a present, a gift back to myself. Say, hey, you know what? I can go out and make this thing happen for myself. Then it gave me a future that I can look forward to, that I can change people's lives like I changed my life. And this industry here, making a change from company to practice company, which we call the practice company, to this company now, there's nothing better to me to build my own thing with the backing of great leadership.
Absolutely. And I've been saying this for a long time. Leadership makes the difference. Leadership really does make the difference, especially when you have a void of it in an industry. For a lot of people, it's just a lot of managers. The difference between a leader and a manager. Managers care about performance and production.
Correct.
And that's great. You do need managers. But when you have a company that's all managers that are just driving performance and production and more and more and more, and there's no leadership to steer the helm, there's no one to throttle. There's no one to adjust. There's no one to sit there and say, look at the potential of people and find specific individuals that have potential to be more and pull them and help them to develop so that they can do the same and just bleed within the entire organization.
Exactly. It's like we talked about earlier about manifestation.
Yeah.
Manifesting things. It was a time when people, I'm pretty sure you get the same thing too, Greg, because you was a big producer as well. I know who you are, Greg. I know Greg is a superstar, right? So when people walk up to you and they ask you, how do you make this type of money? How do you do this? Right? And I want quick money as well. I want quick money. You have to tell them this is a long game.
Yeah.
This is a long game. Think about it for a second. You want to own a house or you want to own an island? You want to own a car or you want to own a jet? It's a long game.
Yeah.
We talk about generational wealth changing game. Who do you study? Do you study Warren Buffett or do you study Nuck down the block down who's selling drugs?
Yeah.
You have to make a choice of what you want to do with the changes that you're actually making. So I look at myself when people ask me, hey, how'd you make, I got a phone call the other day. How'd you make 10 grand in a day? I studied my craft. I knew exactly what the client was going to ask me. I was well prepared today, the same day, an hour prior to me getting the client's home.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was going to go 5 for 5 because they kept calling my phone, make sure I was coming.
Mm-hmm.
My job was to give the client exactly what they asked for and build that relationship within that 45 minutes per client that I had, so I knew I had that client long term. Now, to make that 10 grand, I had to start somewhere, Greg. I made a lot of mistakes.
As have we all.
I mean, at the time I went a whole 4 months and didn't make no money. I wonder what the heck is going on, because I'm learning my craft. So if you want to make $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, understand, give yourself time. Be patient with yourself so that you can run your own race.
Absolutely. And I think in closing, what I'd like to do is just kind of what do you want to accomplish here, and what are your goals, and then if anyone wants to work with you, how can they get in touch with you?
I want to pour as much as myself into individuals who would like me to. I want to give the persons that are looking at this opportunity for the very first time or hearing me speak for the very first time to know that what I'm saying to you is the truth. I want to be able to teach and mentor those who want to learn this craft so they can live generational wealth for their families. The second thing I want to do is be able to retire by 50. Like, I'm already retired once already, but I want to really retire, Greg, and sit down and just be able to look at things from a higher viewpoint and help people from that level who wants to own their own IMO company. And if people want to get in contact with me, they can reach me on my IG, they can direct message me, or they can personally call me. My number is 414-241-3233. I would definitely pick the phone up within 24 to 48 hours to help you along the way. But understand, I'm very passionate. My time is very, very valuable. And if you're not really if you're not ready to run, don't dial that number. If you're not willing to learn, don't dial that number. If you don't have a why, don't dial that number.
Fantastic. Dr. Burns, I
Yes, sir.
appreciate you coming on and having this was good, man. I appreciate the conversation and learning more about you. And I'm excited to see, what you all accomplish here and the massive team that you build. I think that the sky's the limit with how we do things and the tools that we have at our disposal. So I'm excited, man.
It was an honor, Greg. It was an honor. And thank you for allowing me to be on this platform with you.
Yeah,
I really appreciate you. I look forward to building a better and a more conducive relationship with each other in the future.
absolutely. Absolutely. For those of you watching, thank you so much for taking part in the ADV1 podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and so that you continue to get updates on content we're putting out each and every weekday. If you like the video, hit the like button, give us some love. If you got something from this training, if you got anything, if you enjoyed it, if it entertained you, if you're like, man, Dr. Burns, you loved his story, then the only fee we have is that you share the video with somebody else that could also get some kind of benefit from watching it. So we thank you.